The United States cannot remain out of the Middle East, even though President Obama would like to, I think, because it's always been a trap for every president. The problems are very difficult, incorrigible, in fact, and it's probably one of the reasons that President Obama announced that there would be a strategic pivot to Asia, the Pacific. In some sense saying that now the Pacific is much more important to the United States than the Middle East. We can also see that the Middle East is less important because the United States may become a net producer and exporter of gas. So just in terms of strategy, I think that the White House, that this president would very much like to not have to deal with the Middle East, but you can't avoid it. The Middle East comes and gets you. And now that the White House and John Kerry, the Secretary of State, is obliged to deal with the Middle East, now we see not only is the United States returning to the Middle East, but on three fronts, three very difficult fronts: the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, Syria, and the question of a possible Iranian nuclear weapon. And these are three very, very difficult dossiers. So not only did the Middle East come and get the United States, but now the United States, in coming back to the Middle East, is doing it with a lot of audacity, perhaps too much audacity. We'll see if all of those very difficult problems can be solved at the same time. They probably can't be solved at the same time. In any case, success in one could undermine success in the other. If the United States manages to come to some sort of accord with Iran over a nuclear weapon, that's not going to make the Israelis happy, or the Saudis happy, for example, which will also complicate what's happening in Syria. That's a more difficult question to answer. First of all, I think that the way that President Obama dealt with the Syrian issue probably, no doubt, hurt his image. As a president who was too indecisive, was flailing, couldn't really establish a clear line and take a decision. And furthermore, which really rubs Americans the wrong way, he was rescued by Vladimir Putin. So in terms of public opinion, I mean, the Americans were quite, I think, relieved that their military forces did not intervene in Syria. On the other hand, the way that was achieved was a little embarrassing. It may also have not helped the American image with its allies, because Barack Obama had announced that there would be a very limited, probably a very limited military strike. It seems that the Allies were prepared for that and waiting for it, and at the last minute it didn't happen. So that didn't help to build trust between America's allies and the president. President Obama is in very difficult circumstances now. He's fighting on the domestic front to try to save his health care plan, and that's a priority for any president. Domestic policy is always a priority. Usually in a second term, when presidents have difficulty, they can turn toward foreign policy. But even here, turning toward foreign policy gives them a very, very complicated and difficult situation. So on both fronts, on the home front and on the foreign front, the president, a weakened president, is facing a very difficult situation. And we'll see if he can get out of it. We'll see if his Secretary of State, John Kerry, who's very bold, very smart, very energetic, can manage to solve as much as possible as many of those three big problems that are facing the United States.